Chapter 6. Veronica POV. My eyes widen as I look at the thing in front of me. Hideous body, 4 eyes, horns. A demon. I looked at Philip, and he was just as shocked as me. "What is that thing?" Hayden asked. "It's a demon," Noah said in a low voice. "But demons are extinct with the destruction of their lord." Violet whisper screams. I stared at the demon in horror. But what are they doing here? The demon suddenly raised his head in the air and sniffed. It snapped his head in our direction, and we all froze on the spot. My body started to heat up a bit, and it was definitely not the ones I usually feel. It roared, looking at us, as though it can see right through the invisible shield. "I think it can smell us," Philip whispered as I gulped. Suddenly, it ran towards our direction, and we deactivated the shield before jumping out of the way. We ran towards the grassland so that we have more room to battle the beast. I took out my weapon, which consists of 2 white glowing whiplashes activated with dark magic power. Everyone else activated their magic as their eyes turned bright color. The demon roared before coming up from the trees. Its eyes, by now, were glowing red, and by eyes, I meant his entire eyes. Noah used his power and threw an orb at the demon, making it roar and turn its attention to him. The monster attacked Noah, but he was quick as he jumped in the air and summoned his blue sword before attacking it back. The demon roared in pain, but it grasped as the wound healed almost immediately. Noah was also shocked as he failed to notice the monster's hand. He was thrown to the trees, but if it wasn't for Philip's protection shield, he would have been badly hurt. The others ran to the demon and started attacking it. I slashed my whiplash in the air, preparing it before running to it. Violet used her powers to restrain the demon, but she was having difficulty holding it still. I jumped in the air and wrapped my lash around its neck before holding it tight. The demon roared and broke the strain of Violet before throwing her to a nearby tree. He lashed his hand and swiped the other 3 warriors to the ground on top of Noah. It suddenly turned and faced me, and for a minute I thought I saw him grinning at me. I gulped as his eyes glowed brighter, and my mark suddenly burned more painfully. It grabbed my leg and raised me in the air, roaring right at my face. "Veronica!" I heard Noah shout before a large orb hit the demon's back. The demon with me hanging from his hand turned and growled at Noah. Using that time, I used my free leg to kick it in the neck before running to Noah. My leg was staying at where the monster forcefully grabbed. "Prince Noah, he's too strong. We're weak. We should retreat," Philip shouted as everyone immediately agreed. He looked around conflicted, finally landing on my face before looking at my injured leg. "All right, retreat. Transport to the guest house," he said before he wrapped his arm around me. He closed his eyes, and I closed mine since I knew he was going to transport us. My mark was burning more at his touch, and I'm in desperate need of my medicine. As soon as we reached the house, I pushed him away before running to the girls' bedroom. My hands shook as I rampaged through my bag. I took out one of the many bottles containing my medicine and drank from it. I gagged in disgust at the taste, but continued to have the whole bottle. "Are you feeling sick again?" Noah's voice suddenly raged through the room. I turned as he walked in hurriedly to me. Yeah, I felt a bit sick," I said as I put the medicine back in the bed before zipping it tight. "Do you need anything?" he asked, concerned, feeling guilt at me. No," I asked, mentally slapping for making it a doubtful question. "You sure?" he asked as I nodded and sighed. "Okay," he said, but still stood there. "Anything you need?" I asked as he sighed. "Yeah, Liz, let me dress your wound," he said as he pointed to my injured leg. I gulped and looked at him with hesitant. I don't know whether the medicine has been efficient since my mark is still burning. "I can do it myself, or I will ask Phil," I started to say, but he banged his hand on a table nearby, stopping me mid-sentence. "Just, please," he said, his eyes begging for my approval. "Oh, all right," I said as I sighed and sat on the bed. He nodded before running out of the room. After a few minutes, he ran back inside with a bandage and medicine before staring at my wound. Hot water. We need hot water and towel, he murmured before going out again. I watched as he ran back to the room, but only to go to the bathroom. Aha! I heard him shout before coming out with a light blue towel. He again went out and after a few minutes came in with a tub of hot water. He then sat down on the ground next to me before lifting my leg and putting it on top of his. By now the burning feeling was very low, almost non-existent, and I silently thanked him for wasting the time running around the house. That demon had a tight grip on your leg. His claw wounded your leg, he said, examining my leg. On my ankle was a handprint along with the claw marks. Okay, let's see. He said as his hand went over the things he brought, trying to choose which one. Do you know how to do the first aid? I asked, confused at his antics. Of course I do. I've learned it in training, he mumbled before grabbing the towel. You seem a bit confused, I said as he immersed it in hot water. Oh, I said as I felt a hot sting on my wound. Shit, too hot, he said before starting to wave the towel. I couldn't help but let out a laugh as he pouted and continued his job. I really think he has lost his mind. Noah, this is very sweet of you, but, I stumbled as he tied a bandage around my leg. Noah? I called as he hummed in response, not losing concentration. You do remember you could have just used magic to take care of it, I said as he froze. I don't know why my brain stops working around you, he murmured, and I blushed, looking away embarrassed. Calm down, I told my overbeating heart. What do you mean I'm not in your plan? I shouted, shocked at hearing Noah's plan. He has got to be joking, right? What I exactly mean, it's too dangerous for you, Warrior Veronica, he said as I glared at him. It's my duty to protect you, I said as he raised an eyebrow at me. I don't need your protection, and this is not a mission fit for you. You don't have powers to protect you. You'd almost got killed yesterday, and you came home weak, he said as I groaned. Philip, you're not going to allow this, right? I asked as I turned to Philip. Philip has no say in this. I'm the prince, and I don't think what Philip says can override my decision, Noah said as Philip looked at me with pity. Okay, let's settle them. The four of us will go and kill the demon while Veronica stays behind. Let's go. We have no time to waste, Noah said before walking out. The others followed behind, and in seconds, I was left alone in the house as they go on the mission. If he really thinks he will keep me away from the mission, he is so damn wrong. I watched through the window as Noah created a portal to the place where the demon resides. After they disappear, I then ran to my room and put on my gear. I took my whiplash and attached it to my waist and took my bag of supplies. I then took one of the potions and looked at the label. I'm so glad I packed emergency potions for the mission. I took the portal creating potion and walked outside with my things and threw the potion on the ground. The glass cracked as the spell activated, creating a portal. I had to wait for about 5 minutes for the portal to be fully developed since it's not real magic. I walked through the portal and I watched at how the scene before me changed. Once my legs sat down on the ground, I coughed and covered my nose. Oh my God, I said at a terrible smell. It is much worse than the last time. But what is panicking me was the fact that I could smell casein stronger. It didn't have much effect on me, but I could imagine the condition of the other. I didn't waste time as I bolted to the place where the demon resides. The sight before me made the blood drain from my face. It's worse than I thought. It's not just one, but 2 demons. Philip, Violet, Line, and Hayden were on the ground unconscious. Their skin has turned slightly blue, and I knew the poison affected their body. Noah is a powerful wizard, and he has more immune system than the others, so he is not unconscious. Well, not now, that is. He was breathing heavily and sweating, and it is not doubt he is getting weaker and weaker. In addition to the poison, Noah was fighting the two demons. He also had put up a protection spell on the others. Noah shouted in pain as I let out a scream. He fell on his knees as he swayed back and forth. One of the demons lifted its hand in the sky, forming a huge fireball. Because I could even react, my body moved on its own, and in a moment I was in front of the demon. A protection shield was created from my hand, shielding the fire from attacking Noah. My mark was burning so bad, increasing the power inside of me. My body moved on its own as I jumped in the air, dodging the monster's punch. I summoned my powers and threw a huge orb of fire at the demon as it screamed and disintegrated on the spot. Shock filled me at the sight. Did I just do that? The other roared and charged at me as I dodged to the right before kicking him on the back. My body started to ache, and I started to feel drained of my powers. The demon once again attacked me, and I took the knife in my hand and stabbed the demon on the chest. It roared in pain before it fell flat on his face. Once I'd ensured the demon is dead, I went to Noah. He was unconscious as his skin started to burn a bit blue. He was sweating and breathing heavily. Others were worse than him, actually. They are now unconscious with no reaction to their body, and I knew if I don't take them away from this region and treat them, they would suffer much worse. But I can't take them back alone, and I don't have a potion to make a portal. I looked at my hand, and then back at my friends. I could use magic. But I have never used them before. I don't know if it will work. Still, I have to try. I have to try, or they will suffer. I closed my eyes, and I tried to channel my energy. Nothing. I frowned as I looked at my hands. Something is not right. My mark is burning, so it must mean my power is activated. Maybe I should recite the spell. I murmured before trying reciting the spell. I groaned in frustration at nothing but tried again. I concentrated harder, and this time the pain on my mark increased painfully bad. My hands glowed red, and the red markings appeared all over my body. I imagined a portal to the guest house appearing in front of me, and I noticed the wind picking up fast. The portal rat appeared in front of me. By now, my body was burning, and I was breathing heavily. "Come on, Veronica, one more spell," I said before I looked at my friends. I directed my hands at them, and they started to rise from the ground. I directed them to the portal as I followed behind. Reaching successfully inside the house, I slowly lowered them to the floor before running to the bathroom. I vomited my guts out, after which I felt a bit relieved. I washed my face before making way to my room. I drank less after medicine left, but the mark was still burning. I had no choice but put a bag of ice on my neck before I went to tan my friends. It's going to be a long-ass painful day for me.